I just told her today about the buying and all that stuff. She bought them. So they see
not
me?
seeing anybody. Yeah. Hello? Okay. Alrighty, we're here, but it doesn't say that there's anybody in here.
Where are they coming in from?
The website.
It's not on Patreon.
No, it's not on Patreon. It's
So that's
all
why
on the
this,
website.
you're going to get very, very few people.
They can hear us.
Ready?
Your mic's on.
Hey, guys. Today is the first day we're starting on SammyTheBull.com. It's supposed to be exclusive to only those people, the Q&A. But today, being we just started, it's first day, it's exclusive to you guys, but we have some public people coming in who are not members. But I'm going to talk to you guys. You won't hear it in the future unless you're a member of SammyTheBull.com. But I didn't want to leave you out. Probably you didn't know, and you didn't have time to hook in. So here I go with Zaza doing the questioning, and I'm going to answer as many questions as I can, and whatever questions came out earlier or will come out during the show. If you want to ask a question, I'll probably answer it.
All right.
This is going to go to work? You're going to go to work? Or are you going to stand there and watch?
Alrighty. Question number 1. And just so you guys know, all these questions are from our members on the website.
Can they see me?
Yeah.
Oh,
everybody
all
can
right.
see you.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. I didn't know if I was invisible.
What do you think alive is?
I don't know. All right. I'm a little screwed up.
It's all right.
It's the first time we're doing it this way, so I'm a little screwed up too.
It's okay. All right, question one. What is your favorite Italian restaurant in Arizona?
I used to own Uncle Sal's Italian restaurant. It's a great restaurant out here. And I go there, on occasion. And I don't own it anymore, but I like that restaurant. There's a few other ones I can't even think of their name. What's that name there that I go to? Calabra's. Carrabba's.
Yes.
I go there. I know it's a commercial place, but the food is great. The service is great. The people got to know me. They treat me good. So I love that place. What is it? Longhorn Steakhouse or something like that?
Yeah, Longhorn. I didn't know you liked Longhorn.
Yeah, I like when I want a steak, I go to Longhorn Steakhouse. It's pretty good. It's a commercial place as well, but the same thing, great service, great people. And that's what I like about it. It's not always the flavor of the food. Of course, I don't want to buy shitty food, but, the service and the people, and I like that about the place as well.
Okay, awesome. Next question. Who was your favorite boxer, and do you have a match that you remember as being one of your favorites?
My favorite boxer. I worked out in a gym, in Gleason's gym, with Ronaldo Snipes. There was a bunch of issues. I tried to fix a fight. There was, a lot of problems with the government. I just got in trouble over it, but I liked him. He was a friend of mine. I liked Muhammad Ali. I think has to be my favorite. The man really knew how to fight. He had a lot of heart. I loved him. He was funny, and he was great in the ring. I mean, he just had a style that was just incredible. I liked.
You've mentioned, I think, Joe Frazier.
Joe Frazier, who fought him a few times. He was a warrior, tough fighter, great fighter. There's so many of them that I liked. When you moved forward, I really liked Mike Tyson. He had a great style. Not only could he hit like a moose, but he also bobbed and weaved in a way. He was a great fighter. People don't recognize that about him. He could hit you from every angle with that power he had. There's no question that Mike Tyson was a great fighter, somebody I really looked up to as far as boxing. But I liked the boxing. I saw a lot of fights. I don't remember who fought who at what time, but I enjoyed going to matches. I even went to lower level fighters, guys who were just starting, weren't, heavyweight champions or something like that. And there's a lot of middleweights and people I loved with that, Sugar Ray Leonard and so many people. But I enjoyed that sport.
All right, next one. Were there rivalries between Italy-specific mafiosos, like Sicilians or Nepalese people or Calabrese people?
Calabrese. There was arguments and there was stuff because the mafia started in Sicily and Sicily only, and it spread to the rest of Italy. But Sicily had a different mentality. They cared about the people. They came from small villages. They were all peasants, farmers. So they fought and stuck together, the whole community, against invaders and rich people who owned these huge farms. They did, put pressure on them because they wanted to get the people to work. So their motive for being honorable and caring about the people in these small villages that they came from. So they were their neighbors. They were family to them. So they had a different mentality. When you got further out of Sicily, the cities were bigger, and their mentality was to shake people down, rob money.
Right.
So Sicily had conflicts with different parts of there. But end result, Cosa Nostra is Cosa Nostra, and they respected each other. And occasionally there was a flare-up, but I don't think it was. I think it's overblown about these wars. There was wars, but I think it's overblown.
Next one. What are your thoughts on Nicky Scarfo's paranoia, and specifically relating to the death of Salvi Testa?
Well, Nicky Scarfo, I knew him well. I won the war for him. by taking out Johnny Keys. I think most people know that story now. But one time, Nicky Scoffo was thrown on the side. They were going to kill him, Angelo Bruno. The only thing that saved him was Phil the Chicken Man Testa, was the underboss, and he saved him and made him stay in Atlantic City. When the war broke out and Angelo Bruno was killed, he brought him in to be his consigliere. So that was his man to look up to be friends with. When Nicky took over, he had this paranoia and he was killing a lot of people. Now, when he killed Salvatore Testa, that's Phil the Chicken Man Testa's son, people look at you like, oh my God, if he could kill him, and he was a rising star, this kid, good looking kid, I knew him well built, and Nicky got this paranoia, whatever you want to call it, and killed him. The whole family shook at that. Later on, John was going to kill me, and that's what those tapes were about. How do I kill Sammy when he's recognized as super loyal, a power in the family? He knew, he was smart enough to know the same thing would happen to him. Everybody would be, oh my God. And that's Nicky's downfall. That would have been John's downfall. So he didn't do it. He went around in a roundabout way. I'm explaining those things on my podcast. And so that hit, I think, was Nicky Scarfo's downfall. It shocked everybody. And even though you're the boss, you got to watch what you do. Your actions cause reactions throughout. And it was a bad move on his part.
Alrighty. Do you know anything about Salvador Toto Arena from the Corleone family?
Salvatore Toto Arena from the Corleone family in Italy, I believe they were up in Sicily. He was on the lam. He lived on a farm. He fought wars with other groups from the farm. He was extremely dangerous. At one point, he killed a federal judge and some other people in the car. In the explosion, the judge's wife was killed. A whole bunch of people were killed. All of Italy rose up against that move and protested against it openly for the first time that ever happened. And eventually he got caught and went to prison. I would assume he's dead by now. But he was a very, very powerful, very, very dangerous boss. And he was at war all over the place.
Alrighty, next question. When you were planning the hit on Paul and you wanted to get Neil Delacroce's blessing and he said no, how did you guys all know that you could trust him to actually keep quiet?
He was an extremely honorable guy. He was a man of his word. He said no. And again, killing him would have been the biggest mistake we could ever make. We all loved him, so we wouldn't have killed him anyway. And we trusted him. That's why we went to him. And he didn't tell Paul. He told us, he told actually John and Angelo, if you want me to represent you in this sit down, I'll try and save your lives. I'll try. He didn't say he would, but he would try to save their lives. He said this would be the end of Cosa Nostra as we know it. You can't do that. Killing a boss is a no-no. And he said, if you're afraid, he told John Gotti and Angelo Ruggiero, just run. But killing the boss is out. You fucked up, not him. So, and we all respected, that's Cosa Nostra in beautiful thinking. We respected that. We wouldn't kill him. After his death is when we made those moves. So maybe that'll answer your question a little bit.
Yeah. The next one's about Chin. So when Chin gave the order for the unsanctioned hit on Paul, but it was he himself who was the shooter behind the attempted hit on Costello, he suffered no consequences. How can he contradict something that he was behind doing, which is so similar?
It's not similar at all. First of all, the order when he shot Costello, he was only a made guy, if he was even that.
Right.
And he was given an order by the higher people, Vito Genovese, and the administration at that time. He's not part of that thinking. He didn't plan the hit. He didn't do anything like that. He was told to kill the guy, and he went. He was the guy who pulled the trigger. So it's not, it would be like blaming the Castellano hit on the shooters, not on me or John Gotti or Frankie DeChico or Joe Gallo. We were the planners. We would be the people who would be retaliated against, not the shooters. They're just underlings who are doing things on orders.
Right.
So his participation in that attempted murder was different. He wasn't part of the planning, but as he was in Cosa Nostra and as he grew into power, he recognized Cosa Nostra, obviously, and protected it. So killing a boss was against the rules. How would he know killing Costello was against the rules? Maybe the commission and everybody approved it. That's not in his power.
Right.
Speak a little louder because she's so cute and feminine. I think you're not talking loud enough. You.
All right, all right.
All right.
I'll speak up.
Speak up a little
All
bit.
right, all right. Next one.
People think you're afraid of me or something.
Please. Did you personally ever make anyone else besides Peruta?
Yes, I made, I was behind making people. So Louis Melito, I got made. Peruta, I got made. I also made John Gotti Jr. and then made him a captain because his father's not supposed to sit at those ceremonies. So he gave me the authority to make them. I was also very friendly with Nicky Scoffo. Before his nephew, Phil Leonetti, was made, I had gave him encouragement to make his nephew, who I knew already and I thought he was a good kid. And he did make him. When it came time that the underboss that he had after the war was relieved of his position, he was going to make an underboss. I met him again, Nicky Scoffo, and I suggested that his nephew was no longer a kid, no younger, a young guy, very experienced, very talented. And I told him, I think you should make your nephew. I didn't encourage that. I mean, I suggested that, and he thought the same way and made him the underboss of the family. So I don't know if you want to count that as guys I made. I also made Huck in my crew, which ended up to be a mistake. But I did make guys or gave my blessings about guys. And you got to remember one more thing. When they make people in other families, a list goes around. There's many, many times I saw the list, saw people's names that I know. And I don't remember anybody that I gave a thumbs down to. So in that sense, I'm part of making everybody who came after me.
Right.
The names I saw anyway, maybe not every single name, but I saw quite a few.
Okay, next one. Did the Cosa Nostra that you know ever cross paths or have any dealings with the Camorra?
They're different groups in Cosa Nostra, like the Sicilians, the Camorra. There's the Neapolitans. There's different from different places, but we're all Cosa Nostra. I may have sat with them, not on the basis that that question is based on that I met with them and they're a different group, or there was a war going on, or they thought differently. And so I must have came across them 100 times, but I never looked at them as different groups. They're all Italian. They're all Cosa Nostra. And I respect that, not where they were born and raised.
Okay. Next one, where I lost my place. Oh, what were some of the things that you did to keep busy and pass time while you were in prison?
I did a lot of things. I played chess. I got 1 billion tattoos. I mean, I played ball, handball. I was younger. I played handball. I played racquetball. I worked out, played cards, watched a little TV when there was sports on, a football game or something like that. There isn't too many things to do in prison that you could say, I didn't go out socializing, we didn't go out drinking, I didn't go out with women. So you leave all those things out. There isn't too many things to do in prison. But those are the things I did mostly.
Okay. This next question asks if you ever dealt with Billy Bats before he went MIA around like 1970. And then also, is he as feared as what people say? And do you think that he could have taken back over his rackets if he didn't disappear?
Billy Bats is the guy that's in Goodfellas where they killed him in a bar and they got rid of him. He was a main guy in the Gambino family. I didn't know him personally. I don't know how feared he was. He was in prison when he was probably much older than me. I know that what happened, and there was a violent reaction from us, and it caused the death of the guy, one of that group. And but I didn't know what action he was in, or what he would take back. I really don't know that much about him,
Right.
other than what I saw in the movie, and I knew personally about him as far as when he got murdered. I know about the murder a little bit, but that's about it.
Okay. Next one. What time did you get out of bed if you were like up all night doing business, or you guys, I don't know, had a long night at the club or whatever? What time were you up the next day?
If the question is when back in the street, I get up early for some reason. I really do. I wake up like now. I wake up 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'll get a cup of coffee. I'll let my dog out. I'll watch the news maybe on TV. And in another hour and a half, I'm back in bed sleeping again. And then I get up. But I had the same kind of habit when I was in the street. I think I slept a little bit longer. My days were full. There was no end to I would get picked up 7:30 in the morning every day by a driver, bodyguard, especially after the Castellano hit. And went to a gym, worked out, then went to different places for sit downs. Then I went to my office. I ran construction businesses and handled unions. Before that period of time, I had a little more time. I wasn't doing as many things, but I had a family life. I just had a regular life. It's probably crazy to hear I had a normal life.
A little bit. Okay, what's one of your favorite mafia nicknames that you've ever heard?
Mafia nicknames. There's so many. I mean, there was a guy, Richie Shellackhead, Sammy Meatballs. I mean, Petey Ugly. So, I mean, there were so many weird names. Everybody had a name. You know, the Nose, Paul Castellano and Carlo Gambino, we used to call him the Nose. Italian people have big noses, but their nose was like Pinocchio. Their nose came out pretty good. So everybody gets a nickname. Jimmy Fat Ass, you know. So you could only imagine Jimmy already, right? Walking around with a trunk full of whatever. So
Just a full trunk, I guess. Okay, next one. And this one actually is coming up a lot in the chat, so we're going to hit it. What is your knowledge of Tommy DeSimone being eliminated by the Gambinos? And do you think that the version from Goodfellas is accurate to what went down in real life?
I believe what happened in Goodfellas is very accurate. I don't believe the Gambino family took him out, like I said. He killed the maid guy in the Gambino family. There was a lot of pressure put up. I mean, we were literally, and I wasn't on the top thinking this stuff, but at verge of going to war over this. And Paul Vario, who was the captain in charge of that crew, picked him out to be killed. I'm sure, and I'm not sure that I'm sure I know exactly, but I'm sure they would clean house themselves. So they probably killed him. That story about John killed him, I don't think that's true. They wouldn't allow that. So they gave up somebody when there was those high level meetings and all of those problems were mounting in a very nasty way. We wanted what we would call hunk. We wanted hunk. We wanted to get even for that hit. You took out that crew in that bar, took out a made guy in our family. We don't take that lightly, and we're going to react to it. So I think they got a little nervous, and they killed Tommy DeSimone themselves. And that's the way I think it came down. But it was pretty accurate. I don't know every detail, if they're kicking him in the bar and stabbing him in the trunk of the car. I don't know. But that movie was pretty accurate. Even the part where they're going to go on a date, they go to Copacabana, and they go down the basement, through the kitchen, come up, and they get a table. I did that a dozen times when I was young and I had a date. I didn't wait online. I went through the basement, through the kitchen. So they were very accurate in what they wanted to do. I believe Nick Pileggi is a guy who was behind writing it, and he's a guy known that he loves the facts. He loves to stay very close to the truth. Some other people, they just exaggerate a lot of things when you see the movies, but he was pretty accurate in that whole thing.
Gotcha. Next one. Why didn't you and John retaliate for the killing of Frankie DeChico? And does it ever bother you that you never really found out at that time?
Well, I didn't find out. We didn't find out for sure. I always assumed it was Chin. But we couldn't react to it. It's another family. It's another boss. We would be now involved in a major, the Genovese family was a major family. There's no doubt about it. We may have been considered to be the biggest and the toughest, but if they weren't, they were our equal for sure. So starting another war without having proof was a big thing. We investigated. I was dying. Me personally, I loved Frankie DeChico. I was dying to get even. And I'm not somebody I really want to kill people, even though I did when I had to. This one here, I was dying to get even. I would have shot this guy or them or whoever many was involved with no sympathy, no regrets, and maybe I would have felt good about it.
Right. How long do you think you investigated for?
I constantly investigated for cold, hard facts. We investigated. We found out things that we had a connection with police. We found out that the bomb was plastique. It was something that came from Europe. It was something that was used in Italy. They're not against using bombs. We are, in Cosa Nostra, in the United States, one of our rules to all the families is we do not use bombs in murders because you can kill innocent people. We come to you and we kill you. Your wife, your daughter, your friend are not a target, a standby person in the street. So we started to believe that this material came from Italy. Italy might have had a part of it. Now, who would have connections in Italy? We believe the Genovese people had connections, same as we had connections in Italy. But we never really nailed it down. It came out later that he was behind it, but the people who performed it was actually the Lucchese family. Vic Amuso and Gaspipe.
Oh, okay.
See, now she just found out something new. She says,
Right.
oh.
I know. It's weird when I hear things that I don't already know. All right, next one's a little random, a little strange. What are your thoughts on UFOs or aliens?
UFOs and aliens. I don't know too much, but I could tell you that there is a couple of fucking aliens and maybe from UFOs who are in the mafia. Who, to me, I think they came from fucking Mars. how they got into the mafia, some wannabes or whatever. And
Like who?
I don't want to mention names
Oh,
because
all
I'll
right,
never
all
hear the
right.
end of this. But there is a lot of strange fucking people in the mafia. You know, not a lot, but there are some.
All right. Um, next one says, when a boss of a family is killed or just dies, what happens to the boss's money, and like how does it get passed on, or who does it go to? Does it get divided up?
Now, when the boss is killed or dies of natural causes, nobody goes after his money. That's a no-no. His money stays with his family and wherever it belongs. I mean, you can't imagine taking it if he died of natural causes and taking it over greed. If that was your motive to kill a boss and take over for the greed purpose, you don't belong in Cosa Nostra. We don't think like that. We won't kill somebody to take over his money. That's it. I'm not saying it never happens, but it's not Cosa Nostra. That's not something we do.
Right. Right.
And it would be frowned upon seriously by a lot of people.
Right. Why do you think that Joe Messino flipped?
Why do I think Joe Messina flipped? Because he's an asshole. I mean, you know, it's one thing when I know somebody had a reason, they got screwed, everything went against him by the family, so he don't owe them shit. He is going to do whatever he's going to do. Nobody went against him. Everybody helped him. He became a confidential informant. It's the worst kind of informant I could possibly imagine anybody being. That means you're wearing a wire and you're working with the FBI, putting people away. That's horrible. Now, he gave an order to this guy, Vinny Gorgeous, who was a made guy. I believe he was even the captain at the time, to kill one of the prosecutors in the case. And he's wired with the FBI sitting right by his side. This guy was so loyal he was going to do that for you, and you put him away for life. I just can't imagine people when they do that. You can't convince me to wear a wire and talk to somebody like Zaza. She's loyal to me. She's great. You can't convince me to put a wire on to hurt her just to save my ass or whatever. So he's an asshole as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Him and his brother-in-law, Sal Vitale, both of them.
Next one.
Wait.
Oh.
Let me get back to him.
Okay.
We talk about fucking aliens and people from outer space. I think him and his brother, they're two fucking aliens, I think.
Noted. Besides Peruta wanting to kill Huck because he ate the ice cream tarts, what's the most funny or ridiculous reason that you've heard that somebody like wanted to kill somebody?
I think you can't top that. I mean, you wanted to kill somebody because they ate your fucking ice cream tart. I don't know how to top that. I'll tell you the truth.
Right.
But I'll give you one more example. We put Joe Piney in after Frankie the Chico died. For the reason that he was an old timer, he was part of the plot, and to calm down everybody that now bodies were going to be found, war is on. We try to calm everybody down with his move. But he really didn't fit that position. It was me and John who was running things. So when John was away, Joe Piney called me in one day. I went there with Angelo Ruggiero, and he said, Sammy, I know how to take the heat off of John, the publicity. And John was in every newspaper. I mean, everybody, every news station, everybody was talking. So I said, how are we going to do that? And he says, we're going to kill Oliver North. You know, who's Oliver North? He's the soldier with Reagan. He was a lieutenant colonel or whatever he was. If we kill him, the publicity will go to that they won't know what's going on in the country. They won't even think about John anymore. I looked at him. I was dumbfounded. But he was now official underboss. So I said, okay, Joe, I'll take care of it. And we're walking out of the house. So Angelo Ruggiero said, Sammy, you're going to take him out? No, fuck no. I said, this is fucking insane. Joe Piney is dumb as fucking wood, bro. He's a great guy. I always loved him. I still love him. But, I mean, that's why he was the underboss, but to calm people down. He had no strength. It was just me and John. When John came out and I told him the story, me and him left for a fucking hour. He says, thank God you didn't do it. Why the fuck would I kill the soldiers? Nothing to do with nothing. I mean, to take off to eat. Gives you an example of stupidity, I guess.
That's a good second to the ice cream tarts. Do you think you or your family lived a traditional Sicilian life while you were growing up, or do you think your parents wanted like more of an American life for you and their kids?
I grew up they were both Sicilian, and we had that mentality. There's no question about it. When I was a kid, I was a baby growing up. Everybody around me, my grandparents, great-grandparents, everybody spoke Italian. So when I was a little kid, a little cub, I spoke Italian. My father, he spoke a broken, he couldn't even talk good English. Mm-hmm. But he said, no, we live in America. We got to live under their laws. We got to speak their language. And he made everybody stop talking in Italian. And I lost it. I don't know how to speak Italian. I know all the curse words. I know all of that. But I don't speak Italian fluently like I did when I was a little kid because he stopped it. He says he wanted us, my sisters, me, to speak English, love the flag, love the country. The immigrants back then were different. They came here. They really, really loved this country. The freedom that it gave them, the opportunities that it gave them. They loved it. They cherished it. And they wanted to live by our laws. I know my mother and father and my family, I could talk for them, and a lot of other people's families I knew. That's how they thought. So I lost the language part of it, but I gained in different areas. And that I guess, was his motive.
Mm-hmm. All right, next one. Please tell us what Vic Amuso was really like in person and what his personality was like when you spoke to him.
Vic Amuso, when Junior was away, they had to make an acting boss. They made him an acting boss. I knew him well. He was a good guy. I liked him. A war broke out in the Colombo family. Carmine Persico wanted to kill him. And they missed the opportunity, but he picked up on it and the war broke out. At one point, he wanted John Gotti. He went to John Gotti to kill Greg Scarpa Sr. I was called over by John, and of course we was from the same neighborhood, Greg Scarpa and me, and I knew him well. He said, could you take him out? And I said, yeah. He stays in a pool room. The pool room was owned up by this kid, Larry Mazza, and I could take him out. And he gave me the order to take him out. I was setting up. I had no intentions of killing Larry Mazza unless he interfered with the hit. Hulk didn't want him to get hurt, which I agreed. I had nothing against this kid. I didn't want nobody to get hurt but him. So I was trying to set it up. John called me back. He said, Vic changed his mind. If he's got to use me to take him out, he would look like shit to his family and the group on the other side. So I didn't go on that hit. It stopped. And I sat down with him. Johnny Pate's brother, a captain in the family, had a fist fight, which is death penalty material, with Joey Bellotti. Joey Bellotti crippled him. Joey Bellotti was a monster with his hands. And there was a sit down. And John said to Vic, make believe now you're not the acting boss. You're back again as a captain. I think I was the consigliere at that time. He told me, make believe you're not the consigliere. You're just the captain representing Joey Bellotti. You guys sit down and whatever you guys agree, I will agree with. And we did that. and I explained my case, Joey Bellatti's case. They weren't allowed to kill him. And I twisted the whole story around. The fight happened in Joey's house in front of his fucking wife, his kids. I said, Vic, what will you do to me? Me and you are arguing on the phone. Then I come over your house. We have a fight. I'm not in my house. I'm not in a bar. I'm not in a club. I'm in your fucking house in front of your wife and children. And he turned around and said, Sammy, I got it. And I'm going to tell you, I could ask for your guy's life. He came for that. He got what he asked for. I'm not going to ask for his life. But I resent that you guys are asking for Joey Bellatti's life. He says the sit down is done. We're off the table with that. So I more or less won that decision. He was very honorable about it. He came back to John. He says, you know, Sammy's the best. Sit down. What he said, it's over. And I ended that situation. So he was pretty honorable. He didn't get stupid and try to continue arguing. He understood that 100%. He probably could envision that happening to him in his house in front of his wife and kids. How the fuck could my guy be wrong when he's in his house? I don't care about the argument on the phone. I don't want to even hear it. We're allowed to argue.
Yeah. That was a good one. Next question. Oh, in your podcast, you talk a lot about how, you know, you lost a lot of members of your crew and then nothing was ever the same. Do you think that that was a contributing factor in your decision to cooperate with the government?
No, not at all. Not at all. I continued my life. I was asked to cooperate 100 times. I'm pinched with people all my life. I never cooperated. The only reason I cooperated, I went in prison with John. I heard the tapes. I started to find out from people what the plots were behind my back. And the reason for those tapes was trying to make me look bad to the family so he could eventually take me out. Unlike Nicky, that thing blew up in his face. John was conspiring. I'll give him, it was a brilliant Cosa Nostra scheme, lie, to be able to kill me. And with all the captains saying, oh my God, I liked Sammy, but he was killing people, taking over businesses, which was not true. And he killed Chin. He gave me an order to kill Chin. And he could have killed me right after I killed Chin and went back. That was his plot, to say, I love the guy. I had to kill him. He was killing everybody, taking over businesses, unions. He killed Chin. I had to take him out. That would have been very understandable to the whole family. But when you do something like Nicky Scoffo did, and if he would have killed me for no reason, the same thing, the same reaction would have happened to him. You're killing people who fucking love you. You're killing people who kill for you. You're killing people. You're betraying everything in the life. That made me cooperate. Nothing else.
Okay, so I guess to follow that question, do you feel like the Gotti tapes were the fall of the Gambino family and basically Cosa Nostra as you knew it?
Oh, that's a fact now that everybody knows. The FBI, state organized crime strike force, made guys, bosses, everybody hated him. Those tapes that he had, him and Angelo, put every single boss, the commission case was based on those tapes. So every single boss got in trouble, underbosses of every family, not just our family. I mean, it made us look horrible. It got everybody in trouble. That and what he did, that flashy bullshit, and put us on front page all over the place, that contributed to the downfall of the mafia. And I think historians and everybody are saying that now, not just me. It's coming from every which angle. There's tapes of Joe Messina. We'll get back to him. He thought he was his closest friend. Joe Messina's tapes, when he got arrested, said, I'm quoting, John Gotti's a fucking asshole. He's ruining Cosa Nostra with what he's doing. all this dressing up, flash bullshit. He's destroying Cosa Nostra. This is before they all started getting pinched. And so Chin hated him. Gas Pipe and Vicarina, I hated him. All of them. I mean, I don't know if Nicky Scarfo spoke with me a couple of times about him. So John, his tapes and everything else, I think he was the downfall. And I don't want to misconstrue this like I hate him. I love the guy. I did everything for him. It's like having a brother. But a brother who just, no matter how much you love him, just went completely bananas and did every disgusting, stupid fucking thing you could possibly do. And I'm stuck with that. I loved him, but he did what he did. And I can't talk positive in a way, but I don't want to talk so much against him that people will think I hated him or I hate him even now. I don't. I think his plot to kill me was brilliant. That's because I'm Cosa Nostra. I think it wasn't justified. I think that ego that he had brought him to such a stupid level, it was ridiculous. But anyway, go ahead. That's enough of that answer, I guess.
All right. Next one. Okay, so from what you have ever been told from the old timers in the family, what was their feeling around Albert Anastasia as the boss, the Mad Hatter?
Well, Albert Anastasia did have a label as the Mad Hatter because he killed people again. There was no rhyme or reason. He was watching the news one day, and on the news, somebody, Willie something, or some big name guy, a crook, was robbing a bank. He ran away, and some innocent person, a man, tackled him and brought him down to the floor for the cops to arrest him. So he's sitting there watching television with his guys. And he said, look at that. Why would that guy do that? And he gave an order to somebody to go kill that guy who did this heroic act by dragging him down and waiting for the police. They killed the guy. Innocent guy. Out of the mafia. Everybody's a little shaken by that.
Yeah.
One. Two, the guy he sent to kill him, to more or less exclude himself from that act, he killed the maid guy to break the chain, linking it to him. That was really set off fireworks. Now, he was in charge of Murder Incorporated for a while. Murder was everything this guy did. Every result to every argument, anything that went on, murder. Again, it blew up in his face. Everybody feared him a little bit, maybe a little more than a little bit. And eventually it led to his downfall where let's get rid of this fucking guy, he's crazy. And that's what they did.
Gotcha. Never heard that one either.
You hang out with me long enough, you're going to hear a lot of things you never heard.
I know. Do you have any grudges or bad relationships from your past life which you regret or wish you had a chance to kind of settle at all?
No, I mean, of course there's things that I think about, but to me, it's like playing Monday quarterback. It's like watching football, and then you get this guy in the background and talking about the game. Yeah, it's easy to talk about the game. You watched it already, and the results is over. So I don't play Monday quarterback. There's some things I would have changed or could have changed or wish I would have changed. There's some guys I wish I would have blew their fucking head off, to tell you the truth. But I don't look at it, and I don't carry that kind of baggage around with me. Whatever happened, happened. Whoever did something, did something. And when you get made in Cosa Nostra, they teach you that anything that happened in your past, any grudges you have, we don't want to hear about it. That's the past. You're born as of the day you get made. All that shit, we don't want to hear about it. It's over. It's done. You got a new life. Live it. When I cooperated and left, especially now when I just got out of prison 4 years ago, I got a new life, and I'm living it. No regrets.
Right. Next one. Okay. I guess it wasn't really worded very well, so I'm going to try to do my best. Do you ever think about being free now after the serious crimes of your past, when there are people in prison for life on just drug charges?
I don't simulate the two of them together. Do I feel bad about people? I've done 22 years in prisons. There's so many people doing life sentences for bullshit crimes or for people that I've met who really changed their life around. They need a second chance at life. I think they would be perfect. There's other people I met, I don't think you could give them a second chance. They're just fucking rotten people.
Yeah.
So, but I don't put that with me. I got out, or I got less time than this guy, or this guy's got more time. I mean, I feel bad for some people in prison. There's no doubt. I was in the ADX. I was in a lot of places. Some of the places I was in were soft. I mean, a broad could do time with us. That's how soft the joint was. But I did time at the ADX Supermax. I think of that time I did there, 6.5 years I did in the hole there. And I think about the guys who were there now or been there when I was there. I mean, the place is so fucking horrible, so hard to do time there, that I sympathize with them. I wish that fucking place could be shut. But in reality, the worst of the worst are shipped there. So the government, in a way, I'm going to take their part. When you're completely out of control in prison, forget about outside, in prison, and you're killing people all over the fucking place, they have a tough time taking you. They put you in the ADX Supermax. They'll park your ass there, and you're done. You are done with your violence. You're done with everything. You can't live a life. You can't talk. You can't get family, everything. They take your blood. And I guess in certain cases, they have to. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason. They can't just leave you in a penitentiary and you're killing a guy every other week or some shit. So I guess they need certain places like that. But there's a lot of guys in there who I knew who did time. Some of them got out and came out. Some of them are out now. I know who they are. But I don't know. Some places are tough, and some places they need prisons. There's no question about it. Without punishment, all you'll have is anarchy, problems. So there's got to be something that controls people. There's always rules and regulations. Like now, they want to take away cops. It's the most insane thing I ever heard. I mean, there's a lot of people who are able to take care of themselves. There's a lot of people who are not. They're vulnerable. They're good people, honest, hardworking people. Some gangs and some things will just eat these people alive. The only thing is stopping that is cops.
Alrighty, next one. This one says, back in the day, you went to school with different groups of people, and you grew up in a Jewish neighborhood, and then later, you did business with them, and a lot of people, came over to the U.S. So what do you think about, some other ethnicities, like, Polish or Irish people or Hungarian people?
Well, I'll start off with the Jewish people. I think they were great people. They're really good people. They're good in business. They're smart. They were great neighbors for me anyway. And those other people, when me and my Gumbar Ali boy got out of prison and we took over that little luncheonette, we went into a neighborhood that was mostly Greek and Polish and Irish and different German and different nationalities. And my Gumbara told me, bro, they're in the bar. Let's go to the bar, meet the people. We'll buy them a drink. They'll come in. We'll have some customers. Sounds great. We did it. I did a video about it. We beat up everybody. We robbed everybody. So when we left, I said, how did this work out, bro? I says, I don't think we got any customers out of this. So, going out of my neighborhood, out of the Italian Jewish community, I guess it didn't work out for us too good. Or maybe it didn't work out for them too good. I don't know.
Okay, we have like 2 minutes left, so this is going to be the last question. And it's very simple. Are you going to dress up for Halloween?
How am I going to dress up for Halloween? Wow. What a question. I don't know. It's actually a question that, a lot of people sent me a text message or this or that, and gave me advice on how to dress. So I'm going to answer one or two of you guys. I'm not dressing up as Mrs. Sammy the Bull Gravano. I'm not doing that. So you get that out of your head. And I'm not buying a little devil outfit with horns. I'm not doing that either. So a few of you guys, why don't you dress me up in something nice? You know what I mean? Instead of all these weird things. Don't pick these weird things because I'm not dressing that way. I may dress a little crazy, like because I got grandchildren and grandpa's going to come over and he's a little bull. So I might have a tail and I might be a little bull. I don't know what stupid shit I'm going to do, but I'll do stuff that'll be good for the kids and get a kick out of them.
No, that works. We can order you a bull costume on Amazon.
Yes,
Sure
yes. And let me say something too. I'm working on a cookbook, with this guy Danny from Oklahoma. He was a street guy, heavyweight street guy. 30 years ago, he quit and he's got a business and he's a great guy and everything like that. And he's a great chef and he has his own business. And my son is a great chef. I mean, he cooks. When we go over the house for holidays or anything, I mean, he's the main cook. He makes stuff. You could eat this stuff when he makes it for 3 days. He makes so much of it, and he's a great, great chef. So him and Danny got together, and they want to do a cookbook with me, and I'm working on it. So the other day, the two of them asked me, "What's your recipe?" My recipe: ramen noodles. What do you mean ramen noodles? What the fuck do I know? That's what I ate in prison. I could give you some of my mother's recipes. I think my daughter has it or whatever. So anyway, I'm working on a cookbook. It may be coming out, who knows, someday. And one thing I will tell you, I don't cook that great, but I know how to eat Italian food. And if there's anything in that recipe book that I don't like, I rip the page out. It's not happening. So some of you guys may enjoy it. Some stories that are going to be written in there. We'll see. It's a fun project. It's not even like a money project or anything like that. It's a fun project, and I wanted to bring it up. Adios.